So, in this video, we will talk about more advanced rules of active and passive voice. Let's start the session. The first is omission of subject. While changing subject into object and object into subject, we have to take care of one thing, that there is a rule of omission of subject. Let's discuss what omission of subject is. If an active statement has vague pronoun as subject, it means if an active statement, active voice, has a vague pronoun as subject, we do not mention it as object in passive voice. I repeat, if an active statement has a vague pronoun as subject, we do not mention it as object in passive sentence. This is the matter of omission of subject. Then, what are the vague pronouns? So these are the vague pronouns: you, they, we, one, someone, somebody, nobody, none, people. So these are vague pronouns. We do not mention it as object in passive. It means we don't mention it as object in passive. Let's see with examples. The active statement is they are playing football. In this sentence, they is subject, they is a subject, and football is object. So if we make this sentence, if we convert this sentence into passive statement, what will be there? First thing, the football is mentioned here as subject, then are playing is in the tense, and it refers the tense and aspects of present continuous. So is used, then continuous aspect is there, that's why being, and B3 is played and by them. Now after B3 we have to make subject as object using by, but they is a vague pronoun, so we don't need to write by them. Let's see it clearly once more. Let's convert this sentence into a passive statement. So the first thing is that we have to write object as subject. So the football is, so football, then verb be is continuous tense, that's why being B3 played, it means we changed object as subject, verb be we changed into past participle, Now what we have to do is that we have to use plus, we have to use by plus subject and object, but the subject by, but the subject is they, so it will be them. In general, we write object as subject as object, but this subject they its subjective case is they. They is a bhagu pronoun. They is a bhagu pronoun. Look here. So we do not mention them. It means we do not mention this part in passive voice. Only up to V3, sorry, up to past participle it's enough. So its correct passive form will be football is being played. Now let's see another example. Someone stole my wallet. So the subject will be my wallet. It's past, so was. Then V3, so stolen. Now by someone we don't need to write. By someone we don't need to write because someone is a bhagu pronoun, so we do not write it. Similarly, look at another example. People speak English here. So English is subject, is verb B, spoken V3. Here to here is same, and people is also a bhagu pronoun, so we don't need to mention people. Similarly, in the last example, you must follow the rules. The rules must be followed. We don't need to mention by you or by others. This is a bhagu pronoun. So this is the case of omission of subject. Let's move further. Now, to make passive negative, add not, removing nobody, none, no one, and ever as never. If we have to make negative passive statement, we add not by removing nobody, none, no one, or ever. It means if an active statement has nobody, none, no one, we add not in passive to make negative passive, and if there is ever, we change it as ever. If there is ever, we change it as never. Look at the example. Nobody could control the fire. In this sentence, if we convert this sentence into passive statement, if we make passive of this statement, the statement will be the fire could. Here instead of nobody we have to use not be controlled, and nobody is a bhagu pronoun, so we don't need to mention. In another example, no one has ever seen her. So its passive will be she has never been seen. So ever is changed into never. And no is a bhagu pronoun. No one is a bhagu pronoun, so we don't need to mention it. This is one rule. And the thing is that subject as profession, job or job, and the verb is related to the same. It reflects general truth or universal truth. Subject should be omitted if meaning is clear. If a profession or job is as a subject and the verb is related to the profession or job, it reflects general truth or universal truth. So subject should be omitted. It means we should not mention the subject if the meaning is clear. If meaning is clear, we have to omit the subject. Look at this example. A teacher teaches a student. So a teacher is a profession, a job, and this verb teaches is related to this profession. So it is general truth. In such case, we don't need to mention the subject because it gives clear meaning in general. So we don't need to mention this subject or teacher. only the verb and object is enough. So its passive will be students are taught. Students are taught. By a teacher we don't need to write, because as per this rule, if subject is a job or profession and verb is related to the job and profession, we don't need to mention the subject that symbolize a profession or job. Is it clear? Look at another example. A doctor treats patient. So a doctor is a job, a profession. It is the verb related to the profession, same profession. So in this case also we can omit this subject, a doctor. Only we have to use patient and treats to make it passive. So the patients are treated. Patients object as subject, are verb be, treated participle. It's enough. We don't need to mention by a doctor here, because patients are treated gives clear meaning. That who treats the patient? Obviously a doctor. So we don't need to mention by a doctor here. So these are the rules related to omission of subject. Moving further, we have another case, that is double or retained object. So what is this case means? Some verbs can have two objects in the active statements. If an active statement has two objects, this is the case of double or retained object. So in these two cases, in these two objects, we have to first identify which is indirect object and which is direct object. So how to identify direct and indirect object? So if a noun, if after verb there is a person or receiver, that is indirect object. If there is name of anything or any object, anything, any material, that is direct object. Means if there is person or receiver, that is indirect. If there is any material, anything or any object, that is direct object. It means the structure will be subject plus verb plus indirect object plus direct object. So look at this example. She gave me a book. In this sentence, if we have to find object, me and a book, these two are the objects. So as we discussed earlier, after verb, if there is person or receiver, that is indirect object. So me is a person, so it is indirect object. A book is a material, so it is direct object. So while changing such sentence into passive statement, we can make it in two ways, or such sentence can have two passive form. Look at the first form of. So if we use indirect object as subject, so its subjective case would be I, was, past tense, participle given, I was given. Okay, so the passive is complete. Then we have this object remaining, and we have to retain this object. Means after V3 we have to rewrite the remaining object, a book, direct object. So for V3, after past participle we mentioned a book, then we add by, then we make subject as object, she into her. So this is the mostly appropriate and right form of changing such sentence into passive. It can also be changed using direct speech and direct object. Let's see second form of passive. So if we use this direct object as subject, a book was given, then we have to use a preposition here. The preposition is to, and after the to we place the remaining object, means the indirect object, then by, then subject as object. So if we use direct object, if we use direct object as subject, if we would use direct object as subject, we have to use to plus retained object, retained object. So this is also correct form, but it is little confusing and different. If you miss to, the whole sentence will be wrong. Look at another example. He teaches us English. This sentence also has two objects, us, English. So us is indirect object, English is direct object. So if we change this sentence into passive, first we have to use us indirect object. So we are taught, then after past participle we have to use the remaining object English by him. It's easy and mostly appropriate. But if we use direct object English as direct object as subject, so it can also be done. The answer will be English is taught, but after past participle we have to use to, as we discussed here. Then we have to mention the direct indirect object after to, then by him, by him. It means we have to use to or for if we use direct object first, direct object as subject. So this is the case of double or retained object. Now let's see the case number 2. If a sentence has the structure of subject plus verb plus direct object plus indirect object. Earlier we have subject plus verb plus indirect object plus direct object. Now we have a little reverse, that is subject plus verb plus direct object plus indirect object. So how we change such sentence into passive form? Look at this example. People gave me a warm people gave a warm welcome to the king and queen. So look here, welcome is a thing, it is a thing, so it is direct object, direct object. The king and the queen are person, it is, so it is indirect object. So let's see how to change such sentence into passive. So the first is that if we use the direct object, a warm welcome, or direct object, a warm welcome was given to the king and queen. So here if we use direct object as subject, we have to use to or for. In another way we can also make passive of this sentence. If we use indirect object as subject, the king and queen were given a warm welcome. It means if we use indirect object as subject in passive, we don't need to use to or for. We can remove to or for if we use indirect object. So mostly I suggest you as a students or as an educator use indirect object as subject while changing such active statements into passive. Now look at another example. People offered a prize to the winner. So this sentence has a prize, it is name of thing, so it is direct object. The winner or the winner is the person, so it is indirect object. So if we use direct object, a prize was offered, we have to use to the winner. But if we use the indirect object, the winner was offered a prize, we don't need to use to or for. So even in the double object or retained object case, in active statements either indirect or direct object can be used to make passive, and in sentence structure there may be direct object first, then indirect object, or indirect object first then direct object. It doesn't matter, but you can change both structural sentences into passive. So the placement of direct object and indirect object doesn't matter, but if the only one thing you have to keep in mind is that if you use direct object as subject, you don't need to use to or for, no need. But if you use direct object as subject, you have to use to or for. That is the matter that we have to understand. So common ditransitive verbs. There are some verbs that takes two objects, that is called ditransitive verbs. The common ditransitive verbs are give, send, offer, tell, teach, show, ask, lend, bring, buy, pay, pass, promise, read, write, sell, award, hand, feed, grant. These are the ditransitive verbs. Often with these verbs there will be two objects. Often there will be two objects with these verbs. So while making passive of the sentence which have such these verbs, we have to think about the direct object and indirect object. Especially for a student, I suggest to use indirect object as subject. It will be easy. If you use direct object, take care of using to. If you miss the preposition to or for, your entire structure will be wrong. So be careful about it. Let's talk about the adverb of manner. This is also another case in passive. In passive voice, an adverb of manner is written before the main verb. So adverb of manner means how an action is performed, how the behavior is performed. That is the adverb of manner. So adverb of manner in passive voice generally written after the main verb. It is written after the main verb. Means after past participle, we write adverb of manner. Look at this example. He wrote the letter beautifully. So here beautifully is adverb of manner. So how we can change this sentence into passive is that the letter is object, so the letter is written as subject here. Was is written as verb be, as the active is in past. Then past participle here I have written mistakenly. Adverb of manner, adverb of manner plus participle. So after verb be we have to mention adverb of manner, which is beautiful. Then we can write past participle of the main verb written by him. So we have to, if an active statement have adverb of manner, we have to place it before past participle. That is the case of adverb of manner. Look at another example. He solved the problem easily. So here adverb of manner is easily. So the problem was easily solved by him. It means after verb be, the total structure will be object as subject plus verb be plus adverb of manner, plus V3. It means the problem object subject was verb be, then adverb of manner, then past participle, then the remaining by him. So some common manner of adverb that comes in sentence are quickly, slowly, carefully, happily, loudly, silently, easily, badly, well. So these are the adverbs of manner which can be changed in this structure. Object as subject plus verb be plus adverb of manner plus V3 plus by plus object as subject as object. So this is the one case. Moving further, this is the second practice set that I recommend you to solve yourself. Okay, so this is easy if you understand all the rules discussed above. So I recommend you to solve yourself first, and then you can check your answer here. The answers are given here. These are the answers. You can you can pause the video and you can check. Let's move further. So if another case is that if an active sentence has any or any of, how to change it in passive? If negative statement has any plus object, if a negative active statement has any plus object, any is changed into no, and any of is changed into none of in passive. Look at this example. He will not eat anything. This is active statement which has not. It means it is negative active statement. Negative active statement. So how we change this sentence, such a statement, into passive? So the rule is described here. If we change this sentence, the first thing is any plus object. So anything is object here. So if we have to make it subject, so any will be changed into no. So nothing will be eaten by him. It's easy. Only we have to take care of any and any of. If there is any, we change it no. If there is any of, we change it as none of. Look at another example. She had not liked any of them. So here we have the another statement, that is negative active statement, and as object we have any of. So if we have to write it as subject, we have to write none of instead of any of. So none of them will be the subject. None of them has been liked by her. So it's easy. Only we have to take care of this change. Okay. So negative active statements having a plus object. So we have another case that is, if a negative active statement has a plus object. Look at this example. A is changed into no in passive. Look at this example. He will not speak a word. So this is a negative active statement which has a plus object. So here this a will be changed into no. So no word will be, and not will be omitted, because we have already used negation here. So will be spoken by him. I again repeat. The first thing, according to the rule, we have to change this a into no. So no word will be, then this not will be omitted or removed, because we already have used negation here. So it is removed, and remaining part by him. So this is the case. Moving further, if we have do, does, did. Do, does, did used in negative and interrogative sentence. If an active statement has do, does, did used in negative or an interrogative sentence, remove them as follows. We remove just do, does, did, and instead of do, does, we use is, am, are as per person of subject, and instead of did, we use was, where, in the same place. We don't need to change the place. Look at this example. Do we eat sand? So we have do here. So we have to change do into is, am, are, because do, does is changed as do and does is changed into is, am, are. So with sand we have to use is. So is, this is should be capital. There is mistake. This should I will be capital. Is sand eaten. We don't need to write by us, because we is bhavu pronoun. We already studied. Look at another example. He doesn't like a meat. He doesn't like meat. So meat is not liked by him. Look at this example. Sita did not. Here we have did. So we have to use was, where, in the same place. So that the story is, this is type of, don't write the story. The story was not written by Sita. So this is the case. If we have do, does, did in negative active statement or interrogative sentence, we use is MR, is MR instead of do and does, and was where instead of did, and we use it in same place. We don't need to change the place. Moving further, if a sentence, if an active statement or sentence has adverb or pre-subject adverb, how we change such statements in passive? Keep the sentence adverb at the first. We write the adverb at first, then follow the rules of passive. It means we do the same thing as we do to change a sentence into passive. Only matter is that we place adverb before subject. Look at the sentence. Suddenly is adverb. She saw a tiger. So suddenly will be written as the same place at the beginning of the sentence. Then a tiger subject was participle seen by her. It's simple. Only we have to take care. So here is but I will meet her. So but will be written at the first. She will be met by me. Luckily, the same thing. Luckily, he was protected. So if we have adverb in active sentence or pre-subject adverb, we write the adverb first, then we follow the remaining rules of passive voice. Moving further, if we have yes no question or WH question as an active sentence, how we change it? Yes no question and WH question of active voice are written as same in question form in passive. Even the sentence is in yes no question or in WH question, we write in same form. We don't change the form of sentence. If it is yes no question, we write in the same form. If it is WH question, we write in the same form. So look at this example. Is Ramesh beating them? So this is yes no question. So how we change this sentence into passive? This is object, so we have to make it subject. So they, but we have to use yes no form. So in yes no form there is auxiliary verb first. So with them we have to use are. So are they being, as continuous tense is referred, beaten by Ramesh? Another example is with WH question. Why should we preserve the tiger? So it is simple. Same WH word is repeated. We don't need to change even the person or suitable auxiliary verbs. Why the tiger be preserved? Why the tiger be preserved? Now look at another example. If the question starts with who, we add by whom at the beginning of the sentence. Then auxiliary verb plus object as subject plus verb plus V3 plus subject as object. If there is no auxiliary verb, we follow the structure by whom plus verb plus subject as subject plus verb plus past participle plus subject as object. Look at this. Who has stolen my bag? So the question starts with who. So instead of who, we write by whom. By whom has, by whom has my bag stolen? Who broke the glass? By whom was my glass broken? It can also be changed as who was my glass broken by. So instead of using by at the beginning, we can use it at last, but it seems very informal, so it is better to use by at first. So these are the case with question sentences. If we have yes no question, while changing it such sentence into passive, we use the same form. We place auxiliary verb at first. If we have WH question, we place WH word first, but we have to think if the question starts with WH word who, WHO who, we have to use by before the sentence. It means who is changed into by whom. Only we have to care about the who. Another case is it plus the passive. So look, let's see what this case is. Subjects like people, we, they in main clause before that clause, and verbs like hope, believe, say, think, know, feel, fear, see are in that clause. We use it as a subject instead of we, they, people. So if a sentence has we, people and they before that clause, and the sentence is joined with that, and there is another clause that has the verb like hope, believe, say, think, know, feel, fear, see. Instead of we, they, it, we use it. Then we use passive form. So this is the case of it plus passive. Look at this example. The example will make you more clear. The structure will be it plus verb be plus participle plus that clause. Look at this example. We hope, the active statement is we hope that she will recover soon. We hope that she will recover soon. So we have subject we. The verb is hope. Then there is that. Then there is another clause. So we can change it as it is hoped. It is hoped that there will be no change. The clause after that will remain same. So its passive will be it is hoped that she will recover soon. Look at another example. People thought that he was a thief. So people think that, then there is clause. So it was thought that he was a thief. It's simple. Only that is we have to check for these subjects and these verbs. Instead of these subjects, we use it. Now the case is of imperative sentence. How we can change an imperative sentence into passive? Its structure will be let plus object as subject plus be plus past participle plus subject as object. Look at example. Call him at once. So imperative sentence has a starting with main verb. So how we can change it? First we write let, then we have to write object as subject. So this is object. So object is made subject, but it is not at the very beginning. So we write him into he as him. Then we add be, then participle called at once remains the same. So The structure that we have to follow is let plus object as subject plus be plus participle plus subject as object. That is the structure. If do comes before main verb in imperative, if with an imperative sentence, if do comes before main verb, its passive structure will be you are requested to plus active voice without do. Look at this sentence. Do come tomorrow. This is an imperative sentence. Do come tomorrow. So how we can change this sentence into a passive sentence? That instead of do, we can use you are requested to. So you are requested to plus active statement without do. So active statement is come tomorrow. So it means just instead of do, we have to write you are requested to. The another rule is that if words like please, kindly are used in imperative sentence, its passive structure will be you are requested to plus active voice without please, kindly word. Look at this example. Please sit down. So instead of please, we write you are requested to sit down. It's simple. Just we have to think about the expression of sentence. Now look at another example. If sense of duty comes from imperative, sense of duty, so its structure will be object as subject should be plus B3. Look at this example. Obey your parents. So parents should be B3, obeyed. Simple. Another rule is yourself as an object in imperative. If an imperative sentence has yourself as an object, so its passive structure will be B plus B3 plus active statement without yourself. Look at this example. Prepare yourself for the game. So it has yourself object. So how we change this sentence into passive? First thing, we write be, then past participle, then active statement for the game, remaining active statement. Okay, we don't mention yourself. So this is the last rule.